This portion of the week, Shlach, is the portion about the spies that Hashem says to Moses, send for yourself spies to go into Eretz Israel and spy it out. Hashem chooses the 12 leaders of the tribes, and they go into Eretz Israel, and they come back, and they reject Eretz Israel. So there's a lot of questions about these, this, except for Caleb ben Yefuneh and Yoshua ben Nun. And a lot of questions come up. They had a failure, and what happened? So the Zohar says that they gathered together and took counsel, and they came to the conclusion that that they had been heads of the tribes in the desert. These are people that were the number one person of the tribe. And when they came back from Eretz Israel, they realized that they were no longer going to be able to have that position. And therefore, they rejected the land because they didn't want to give up their position.
Why would they not have their position?
Because these Nasi'im, they were the door of the Dvar, the generation of the desert, was a unique generation of people, of Jews, and they were the people. These were the children of slaves who had been born into slavery, and suddenly they are seeing the plagues. They are seeing the tremendous wonders in Egypt. They saw the splitting of the sea. They come into the desert. They are fed by the man. They are healed from all their physical things that happened to them in their slavery. They are standing before the Har Sinai. They are being spoken. Hashem is spoke to them directly. They heard Hashem, and they are constantly covered with the clouds of glory. And even when the Amud Ha'anan or the Amud Ha'esh moves, so the clouds of glory come out, and they make the ground smooth so that it will be easy for them to walk on it. They've been taken since from being in the desert. Hashem has taken care of them, and they've had an extraordinarily holy existence. They ate the manna; there was no solar from it. They had a totally spiritual existence. And when they came to Eretz Israel, and they saw that it was a physical place, and that they were going to have agriculture, and they were going to be dependent on the rain, and they were going to have to do all the physical things that one has to do. They were no longer going to be in this realm of Hashem is taking care of us. Hashem is a presence in our lives 24/7. That was not, and it was clarity that was not going to be the case. And therefore they said, how can it be that we are going to have to go down in our, how can it be that Hashem's plan is for us to go down from the lofty spiritual level that we are on? It can't be, that can't be, that we're going to have to go and do mitzvahs and get our hands dirty in the land of Israel. It was inconceivable to them that Hashem wants the Jews to serve him in our physical world after they were in this non-physical world for so long. And that Hashem wants to make, he wants us to make a place for him in our hearts, in our homes, and also give us the opportunity to fail. They could not accept that. But we see that Hashem's plan from the beginning was that if we look at Parshat Bereshit, it says in verse 2, in chapter 2, verse 7, V'yitzer et ha'adam, and he created man, and it's with 2 yuds. When it says that he created man, it is with 2 yuds. Later on, when it says V'yitzer et ha'chai, which is the animal world, there's only 1 yud. And what do these 2 yuds represent? They represent that man has a physical place, a physical component, and a spiritual component. In Yaakov's dream, where he sees this ladder, and the ladder is on the ground and its head goes to the heavens. This is a siman to us. What does Hashem want from us? That in this physical world, we reach for the heavens. Our feet are on the ground, our heads are in the heavens. So that is a reality that they, as the leaders in the Midbar, they knew that they would not be able to be leaders of this. They had done a tremendous amount to be slaves and to become from slaves to leaders of the Jewish people in a desert existence that is completely spiritual. That was a huge abudah for them. And now Hashem was asking the Jewish people, you're going to come down from this level. This is not the greatest thing, to be sustained by me in the desert. That is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to come down from that, to enter Israel, to work the land, to leave Peah in Shichacha, to go and bring sacrifices to the Beis HaMikdash when you don't do things right, when you make a mistake. They could not do that. They couldn't do it. And so they said, so that is why they rejected the land. When the Jews came to Eretz Israel, the man stopped. Our existence is not going to be the same, but Hashem wants us within this land to connect, to constantly be connecting physical and spiritual all the time. The Beit HaMikdash was a place, a Shar HaShamayim, that a place where what we brought went up to Hashem. And the fact that Hashem gets more pleasure from us going through our life, making our choices for Hashem in this physical world, that's all that Hashem wants from us. And Hashem has pleasure from that. That is something that they rejected that. And their rejection of Hashem's original plan for us was their sin, and that they would say, no, we know better. We know better than this is not good for us. Hashem, we know better than Hashem. Now it says that had they been able to accept Moshe and Moshe's leadership, they would have indeed been able to continue to be leaders in Eretz Israel. However, they rejected him. They said, we know better, and we do not want this kind of an existence. That's it. Okay, now this prayer. It's Tefillah Eretz Israel. It's a prayer for wanting, like loving Eretz Israel. And we just have to know that this is a very, very, very special place. Thank you.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. What? I didn't have to anything. Okay. It's 10 to 15 minutes for everybody. Whoever would like to, anybody who would like to volunteer who hasn't done a Dvar Torah in a while, ever. Where is she? That's I go. Hone in on you. Exactly right. Okay, so we're going back to Bona. We're going back to this idea of temporary structures. And okay, so you remember we've been talking quite a few weeks about structures that are without partitions, in other words, things that like a chair. Okay, so we said, just a quick reminder. So if it's made, it's permissible to build these kind of structures or have these kinds of structures as long as it is it's not being used to protect something that's underneath. Okay, it has to be at least one tefa. Okay, to be considered an ohel. Okay, and it's being used for the first time on Shabbos. Not that it was being used for the first time ever, but that somehow it was functioning as a bit of an ohel, one tefach before Shabbos. Okay, so those are the non-partition structures. Okay, and then we have partition structures, which is really what we've been focusing on the last week. Okay, so its qualification. Okay, so we said that it's more stringent with these kinds of structures because it appears to be more like an actual building structure, something that has walls, looks more like what you're. And of course, we said that the whole point of the rabbis forbidding this whole area of ohalim is because people would get confused, and by mistake they would build things that because they got confused about what the halacha was. Okay, so this came out there. Okay, so again, it has to be at least a tefach, 4 inches about. Okay, it has to again, it has to be made for the first time on Shabbos. It's not started at all. Okay, and in this case, the roof has to be constructed before the walls. Okay, that would be like a very much not like how someone builds, right? You do not build a building and build the roof first. Okay, and then you build the walls underneath it, right? It's so I mean the example that he gives is a bench, right? That you're putting on top of a milk crate. Crate, not carton, milk crate. Okay, so so one of the ways of doing it is that you hold the board up, the place where you're going to put this bench, this makeshift bench, and then you put the crates underneath it, and then that would be okay to use. Or you turn it upside down and you put the bottom part on top. So essentially, you're making an ohel first. You're making the top of these crates, right? And then you can put that on, or you can leave it uncovered partially. Anyways, listen, if anybody needs this, I have chairs you can borrow. Okay, let's just, anybody needs chairs, come by. I just to do all of this,
You have to finish that dress.
Afraid to borrow? No, but I have the board. I have a board I can lend you. Very good. Very good. Right. No, but that's how you build any structure, really. You build the walls first, and then you put the roof needs something to stand on, right? Right. Right.
Judy,
Okay.
like for example, if not enough chairs, like 2 chairs, and I can put a board for with chairs, is it permissible or not?
Put
Like to put
on chairs, yes.
And I put like a
Yes.
board so more people can see.
Yes.
Is it acceptable or not?
Yes, it is.
It is acceptable.
It is acceptable, yeah. Because what we said is something has legs. So it has a different, it's without solid walls. And because it doesn't have solid walls, it just has legs, it doesn't appear to be a structure. There's something that solid walls, like a crate would be, it looks like it has solid walls. So that's the difference that they make. So putting it onto, unless your intention is to protect something underneath.
No.
Okay, so you're making a chair. Yeah. Borrow chairs from me, please. Just take the chairs, okay? All right, we're moving on to a new, somebody watch the time for me because maybe we could actually start at 10. Okay, so give me another till 10 up, okay?
You're given.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're starting a new topic. Okay, and that is this is exempted OHEL canopies, exempted covers over stuff, the things that are permissible normally to use to create and to use on Shabbos. Okay, and we have 3 different categories. So one is, it says, well, it just has the different types. Okay, so one of them is called a handheld. Okay, so that is Ohel Biad Adam. Okay, the second one is peaked and sloped canopies. We're talking teepee here. But the way that it's described in Israel, really in Israel, in Hebrew, in Israel too, this is really the essence of the halacha, and that is ein bo rechev tefach. Okay, it doesn't have the rochav tefach. It doesn't have the top of it. There's no flat part, exactly. It's sitting on a pole or something. Okay, and then the other is the last category of things that are that fold up. You can build a teepee, a temporary teepee. Yeah. But there are limitations and qualifications, of course. So, like why wouldn't there be? Okay, so a handheld ohel. Okay, so anything. Let's say you're out walking and it starts raining. Okay, so you can actually take your coat off and you can hold it above your head. You can hold it above your friend's head. Okay, this is of course in a place where there is an eruv. If there was not an eruv, you could actually put it on your head because that's considered wearing, considering like it's clothing. But to be able to hold it above your head like this is that is you're not making an ohel because it's handheld, because it has no firm structure to it. It's like it moves, it blows in the wind, it blows off. Anyway.
So like if you have kids and they want to make like 10 for the sheet, you can do that.
Yeah, but
And they can.
yeah.
Hold it over their throat. As long as
Yeah, we talked about it, like you can't put it over 2 chairs,
so you hold it.
but you can put it on a pole and make it TV. Yeah. I didn't hear the last part. If there is not an eruv, are you allowed to stop and put it over your head? I think you go from wearing to wearing. Like, I don't know, like you'd be taking it off and I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at those halachas in a long time. We're gonna do it.
If you hold it, you're carrying. If there is no roof, you cannot carry it.
Okay, if there's an eruv, no, oh yeah,
If there
right,
is no roof,
correct. If there's no eruv, you cannot do
you
it.
cannot do it because
Right.
you carry it.
Right. If you can somehow like get it onto your head, and that's okay. But if you're holding it above your head and there's no eruv, you can't do this.
In other words, like if someone hands you a baby, so you can actually stand still, take the coat off, put it on over your head, and then you can walk. Still hard. You can't carry it 3 steps. Right.
And also there's like giving it to another person. So what distance has been You know, like that would be doing half the malacha.
But in terms of the ask, you wouldn't have to stop, you wouldn't have to stop. And take off your coat and put it on over your neck, and then you can walk, but I'm not.
We'll get there. We're gonna do carrying in a while, but I haven't looked at it in quite a few years, so I'm not sure. Okay, so what about can you put any structure over your head to prevent raining if it's raining? So like, can you take a tray? No, right? Because it's not collapsible and flexible, right? It looks like a roof, feels like a roof, functions as a roof. It's a roof. A plastic bag you could use. Anything that does not have a frame, does not have a structure, is not hard, you could use. Anything that does, so that's the reason why you can't use an umbrella. An umbrella is right, it's cloth, but it has a frame around it, and it's held up by a pole. That should be okay, but it adheres to this frame. So for example, right, in shul. Pardon me? I don't know, but this talks about hats were actually considered a problem at the time of the Gemara. Isn't that interesting? Men's hats were, anyway, but so like in shul, when you have the chasan Torah, the chasan Breshis, right? They put, or called in the Arim, they put a talus over. So if you hold it by hand, not a problem. You can even put it on a stick if it's connected before Shabbos. You can hold like 4 poles and put it over them. What you cannot do is if it has a frame. If this thing is, if it's a chuppah or something that's on a frame, then you can't lift it by hand and you can't lift it with a pole. You can't use a structure like that. Okay, so that would be
Even if it was made before?
Even if it was made before, yes. Because you think about it, the thing in a frame, it's a canopy that you're putting over your head for the purpose of covering up what's below it. No, but it has a purpose of protecting what's underneath. So anything that has that's the problem with the umbrella. Umbrella could be okay. Especially, let's say your umbrella is broken in the frame. No, that's not true.
No umbrella.
No umbrellas. Okay. Okay, this is enough. Thank you. Anybody have questions?
We learned last time, this kind was already erected before Shabbos.
Right.
People can go in there, you have students in there, whatever, the tent was already erected before.
Right.
Saying these things, even though they were already erected before, are not okay. So like, what is the difference?
No, let's say before shul, somebody puts up a chuppah that has a frame and sitting on sticks. This would be okay to go under it. The problem is creating this ohel on Shabbos. That would be the malach of bona, making an ohel, not using it. Somebody built your house and you're in it.
Then how come you can't put it under an umbrella before Shabbos?
Right.
And then you get out and use it. Like,
Mars
how
Island,
is that?
Mars Island.
That could be. That could
Could it
be.
be that moving it is problematic?
Okay. That's very good. That's right.
Yeah, the structure you built before Shabbos, putting it into place, you're right.
You're putting it into a place, right? Is creating another ohel. Very good. Why can't you, if you open an umbrella before Shabbos, why can't you use that umbrella on Shabbos, right? So Susan correctly points out that when you're walking with it, every place you walk, you're making a new ohel. Here, there was no ohel here, now there's no ohel here. Okay, so that is it, and I think that's all.
Because if you open it, you make use of it.
It's fun, but I asked the rabbi and he said it's considered a frame shelter, even though it's up high.
Wow, really? That's the reason? Wow.
Because he said it was a shelter, and a lot of times the height is a little bit away from your head, not your head height, but the answer was no.
Okay. Thank you. What did you want me to
If you open umbrella, you can Shabbos. You not use it, it's mukta.
If you're not using, right, but
It is mukta, you can attack it because there is no.
no, but it's like many other things. It's like you can designate it. It might be muksa, might have a muksa use, but you can designate it for Shabbos use. So, but you can't. All right, this Seder. Just,
How long have I talked to you?